Good morning. Welcome to Morning Brew with, yes, it's your girl Germaine. And I have to tell you, I feel a little discombobulated this morning. So bear with me. Bear with me. Today is Authors Brew Friday, and I am, yes, excited. I'm always excited when I have a guest in studio with us that we can share in the power of their story. So, yes, I have one of my HOV Publishing's best-selling authors in studio with us today. So, let me tell you a little bit about who our guest is. We have best-selling author Rachele A. Dixie. Yes, she is coming to us with her best-selling book, The Renewing Mind: Devotions for the Journey to Recovery and Life Transformation. So she's in studio with us, and let me just tell you a little bit about it, okay? And then I'm going to bring her in. Is that okay? Or better yet, you know what? Let me just bring her in so we can talk about it together. Okay, hold on one second. Hold on. Hello, Miss Rachele. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Miss Germaine, how are you?
I am doing so good. Thank you
Oh,
so much for, finding the time at it's 10:30 in the morning. And
mhm.
not everybody's schedule is flexible like that, but we've been
Amen.
planning this, so I am so glad you are here with us today so we could talk about the renewing mind
Okay.
and really be able to get into the whole purpose and vision behind the power of that story that you birthed
Yes.
into the ecosystem for the world to be able to share in, and also for the book to become a bestseller. So,
Okay.
so let's talk a little bit about what inspired you. What inspired you to even write on the renewing mind from your vantage point?
Well, when I was working in addictions and recovery, I was working as a group counselor. I was just doing groups with people who were going through the recovery process. It actually was
Mhm.
an inpatient, uh, 21-day type unit.
Okay.
And part of my role was to do different types of groups. And one of the groups we often did was a spirituality group. But what I found is that I didn't want to be vague.
Mm,
And I was in my faith, and with my faith, I wanted to bring something where I could use the scripture and use my personal faith as a
yeah.
testament to how we can walk through difficulties and trials. And so
Okay.
one day I was trying to do something creative for the group, and I sat down at my computer at the office, and I just wrote this, like, one page devotion. And I just kind of kept doing it, like, week to week. I would write a couple, and I would write a couple, and then it just kind of turned into these
Mm,
devotions where a person could pick it up, and they could not only bring have an opportunity to think differently about how my recovery works, because it doesn't just have to be about drugs or alcohol.
that's right.
Recovery is
Mhm.
about so many things.
Absolutely.
And it also was an opportunity to use faith scripture to say, there is something in the word of God that's going to help you, that's going to expand your perspective. And so it was part of my faith, personal faith, that jump started this thought process. And once I started writing them, I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. And I would just take things I had thought about. I mean, I would take phrases. I mean, I think wrote one about the Golden Girls, just
Yes.
fun kind of life type things.
Absolutely.
And that's how the whole process got started.
Listen, do you have a copy of your book on hand with you?
I do. Yeah.
'Cause I definitely what I want you to be able to share from there. But
Uh-huh.
also I'm gonna post this up here on the screen, and I'm gonna post in the comments so people have the opportunity to go over to Amazon and purchase a copy of your book. I'm also gonna post it in our Instagram too, since Instagram want to stand alone, not be a
Most they
part of.
do.
Look, they want to stand alone, right? But let me post this. Good morning, Diana Knox Cooper. Good to have you back, Diana. I have Black Tech Books over on Instagram. So I'm going to post this. And I want to share because, yes, you did become one of our Amazon best-selling authors, The Renewing Mind, Devotion for the Journey to Recovery and Life Transformation. And this is volume 1, which lets readers know there will be volume 2.
That's right.
That's right. And so, all right, let me pull this back up so we can get into discussion. But yes, I want you to be able to share something from the book with everyone so they can get an idea of what they can expect.
Okay, let me just pick one out here.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is called The Same Old Network.
Oh, the same old
The same
network.
old network, yeah. You know those favorite TV shows you watch week after week? You know just what network to find them on, and it
Mm-hmm.
becomes a mindless habit to turn to your favorite network at just the right time. The number is seared in your memory. It does not matter if the show is an action or adventure show, a comedy, your favorite sport, or a love story. You know right when and where to tune in. At times, that can be how addiction is. You tune in mindlessly to the familiar networks. You find it easy to know the exact time and location to find the people, places, and things you are familiar with. Recovery requires us to turn aside from the same old networks for a different channel. Maybe we need to upgrade our selection so that we have better options to choose from.
That's good.
Keeping with the same networks will put us in the same habitual mindset. I'm sure you know that if you do what you always did, you will get what you always got. It is time for you to seek out some new networks, tune into some new and more fruitful TV shows. The same networks eventually bring on the reruns that we can stare at without blinking, and we still know what happens. God has a new network for you. In his network are hope, encouragement, peace, and love. Look for a better selection and find a different choice. You never know how much more you may enjoy tuning into a new channel. So that was
I love that. I love that because it falls in such alignment with just our day to day.
it
We get
does.
so comfortable, we get so familiar with something. And you know what? I am guilty because I will binge watch something over and over again that I've seen already.
That's exactly why I wrote it, because that's what I do. That's
Right.
exactly me.
But I love how you turned it into such teachable moments, these devotions, and how you added the element of spirituality with that.
Mhm.
So people can laugh about it. We're laughing about it, but it can actually transform something within us to start renewing our mind and
Right,
looking differently at things or
right.
adapting different ways that we operate, different principles. So I love that. That actually tie right into my next question that I have for you.
Uh-huh.
Your devotional focuses heavily on thought patterns when you think about it. So why is renewing the mind such a critical first step in breaking negative cycles?
Because we are in, and people say it often, we're our own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really consider that and you think about how you think, something goes wrong, or it's not, the day hasn't worked out the way you wanted it to, or a situation or a relationship has not worked out the way you wanted it to. And you
Mm-hmm.
begin to bring the guilt and the shame and the blame on yourself. And so part of renewing is that we take, and this is actually based on the scripture that says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your
Mm-hmm.
mind. And that's in
Absolutely.
Romans 12. And that is my life verse, because I have been on a journey, and we all are, where
Absolutely.
how we think has to change so that the situations around us change, because our perspective is different. We don't have to go into it with um, a defeatist attitude. We don't have to go into it looking at ourselves as less than the other people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to go into it wondering, oh, will people like me? If you love you, it will be okay.
That's
And
right.
so the transformation, the renewing is a day by day process, but it's certainly a process that can get us to a place of confidence. And if we put that confidence in God first and our relationship with Jesus Christ, then we have more than most people, an opportunity to move ahead in what we want to do and how we think about who we are. Our identity is tied to believing that we have a savior. Our identity is tied to
Absolutely.
believing that we have strength and courage through our relationship with Christ, and that it doesn't matter, something can go wrong in a day, but you
Absolutely.
will get through that day and you'll look back and like, okay, we made it,
We made absolutely.
we made it. And so that's why it's so important, I believe, to be in a mindset that says I need to renew today. I need to look at it from a fresh perspective. And sometimes that's, you know, talking with people, with friends, with people who are in the faith, with people who have a different perspective than you. Sometimes we need to be challenged on some of the things that we think.
I
And
love
so,
that because yeah,
yeah,
sometimes we don't want to be challenged. We want to be comfortable, right? Well, we are.
yes,
We don't know want nobody to question us, but
absolutely.
it's for our growth. It's for us to become the best version of ourselves
Hmm.
also.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so, all right, let's think about some practical applications, right? So, pretty
Hmm.
much in your space, when you were working with individuals each week, pretty much you're challenging readers even through this book. It's a
Uh-huh.
devotional, so you are challenging their minds to reflect and apply something new
Right.
and to see things from a different viewpoint that they may not have even thought about.
Hmm.
And so, can you share how someone can begin shifting their thinking into a practical everyday way?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. One of the other devotions in here, it talks about taking a pause. We wake up and sometimes we jump feet first onto the floor running. And you even started by saying, that my whole morning has been thrown off.
Exactly.
you know.
I'm
And so
rebooting. People don't even. My mind is being renewed in this conversation
exactly,
right now.
exactly. So I think one of the things we have to do is pause. When you open your eyes, just pause and say,
Oh my God.
first of
Yeah.
all, understand, okay, what does this day hold for me? Sometimes I
Hmm.
have to wake up and go, what day is it? you know,
Yeah.
and then just pause. I mean, it doesn't take long to pause and say, thank you for waking me up.
That's it.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be awake this morning. And then I would encourage people to really spend, time in the morning. I get it. We want to get up, we want to get to our day, we're in a routine. But, 15 minutes earlier in the morning is not going to trip up your day. To spend it doing whatever you do, whether you read, whether you sit and have your cup of coffee, whether you pray, whatever
Meditate,
it
whatever
is
it is.
going
You're
to
right.
do for you, pause. That's the most practical
Listen.
thing we can do. And
You are
it's
right in the line. You're right in alignment with
yeah,
Morning Brew. Look, take a pause and
yes,
pour into purpose. Take
yes,
a pause.
yes.
Yes.
And even when you're going through the day and you get caught up in a moment, just there, they say just breathe, do that. Really,
Hmm.
literally think about that breath,
Yes.
breathe, pause. And that's going to help you not to get into these habitual mindsets that don't serve you well in most cases.
Absolutely.
So that's what I would say. Even where you can do that, just pause and breathe.
I find myself sometimes, even when I'm doing Morning Brew, I'll find myself just with the audience engaging and say, listen, right now, this is one of those moments we need to take a pause. Let's take a deep breath
Hmm.
and exhale. And I
Hmm.
tell you something, it feels like in the moment, weight just falls
Yes.
off you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay. And then I'm like, let's
Exactly.
do it again, right?
Exactly. Yes.
But
It's
I
so
want
it's so powerful. It
it
is.
is, I want you to share that devotion, the pause
The
devotion.
one that
So
says pause. Okay, let me find
yes, I do. So while you're finding that, I definitely want you to share that. But once again, I'm going to pull up on the screen so people know that they can definitely go to Okay, let me add. So yes, they can definitely go to Amazon. It's available everywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, it's available everywhere, but definitely the Renewing Mind. The link
Hmm.
is in the comments. Go and get your copy because sometimes we don't know what we need until we see it in front of us.
That's true.
So we're helping you with that. You'll
Absolutely.
need this in your life on your bookshelf, something you can just grab onto,
Yeah.
throughout your day. And
Absolutely.
so she's going to share another passage.
Yeah. So this one is called Pause Today.
Pause today.
Pause today. Right.
Yes.
So during our lives, we try our best to plan out what our day or our week may look like. We get our phones out to check the calendar for the next appointment and hope we did not plan something that conflicts with our daily to do list. Some days we feel as if we are hitting on all cylinders. The calendar runs smoothly and all that needs to be accomplished is done. But what about those days that get off course? We find that we booked too many things in a limited amount of time, and one meeting ran over into the next. We become frustrated and are thrown off our game. Things are just not working out, and our irritation with everything has spilled over. This is the moment we must take a pause. Pause means a temporary stop in whatever action you are engaged with. Sometimes that action is a mental rather than physical one. Thoughts can begin to race and we become overwhelmed because our day is not working out as we planned. For people in recovery, it can feel dangerous to not have something to do each moment. Secretly, you worry if you will be tempted to go back to what you used to do. Do you have to go back? Absolutely not. Romans 12:2 puts it this way, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. You have the power to pause, the power to renew your mind. In doing so, you can prove that the day does not control you, but you control the day.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm sitting here as you're reading and
Mm,
I'm saying, I wish that my father had an opportunity because he struggled. He struggled for a long time battling addiction and stuff,
mhm,
rehabs and stuff like that. And sometimes people just need your book is such an encouragement. And like we stated earlier, it's not just about drug and alcohol addiction. It could be any type of addiction. It could
mhm.
be anything, whereas you need to just have your mind refreshed and renewed
Absolutely. That's it.
and being able to equip yourself with sound scriptures and to help you along this journey.
Mhm.
Life is not easy.
No, and
It's
it's
not.
getting more difficult day by day.
Yes, yes, and it's getting more difficult. Absolutely. I want to just ask, your personal, just how has this journey of renewing the mind impacted your own personality, your own life personally? And I always say here on Morning Brew, all these messages, I'm a first partaker of them. And
Mm,
so, God laid this book on your heart
mhm.
for you to be able to birth this book out and share this book with the world. And so, how has it helped or, just renewing in your personal journey impacted you?
When I was even writing the devotions,
Mhm.
and I was just thought I was doing it for someone else, for people to have something to fall back into in the course of a moment. But I found that as I wrote them, just even like this one that we just read, it
Mhm.
reminded me of what I believe. It reminded me that I believe that I don't have to be conformed to my old habits, my old thinking process. I can be renewed as I press forward into whatever it is God is calling for me to do. So it has been a process. I won't say that it hasn't been. I actually wrote this about 3 years ago. So it's been a minute, but it helps me to
It
really
does.
think about, how do I renew my mind day by day? How do I get back to, uh, you know, being on the right track? And it has helped me, especially in what I was talking about before, to
Mhm.
take a moment and to really be grateful. because a lot of this process, a lot of what we do as people in recovery, and again, that's all of us, is we forget that we have to be grateful for where we are and
Yeah.
that we are going somewhere. And you used the word earlier, purpose. We
Mm-hmm.
are in for an intended purpose. And we just have to really believe that. And I think that has been the thing mostly for me over these past few years that I've just really pressed into and help say, God, help me press into purpose,
Yes.
assignment, and what you want for me to be doing. And I thank God that for the fact you used the word. I know we're on the same page because you use the words I've been thinking about. He gave me the gift of encouragement. He
Yeah.
gave me that gift to people. And so I really try to be that wherever I go. I mean, even be at the gas station. I was at the gas station a couple weeks ago, and the young lady came out, and I said, "Oh," she had a little bump. I said, "Oh, you're pregnant?" She was like, "Yeah." I said, "How many is it?" She said, "Oh, it's my first one." I said, "Oh," I said, "How you feeling?" "Oh, I'm not sure." And I said, "Well, I'll be praying for you. Is it okay if I pray for you?" And she's like, "Yeah, oh, yeah." And I said, "Can I pray for you right now?" And she was like, "Sure." And so, just to
I
have
love that.
moments
Yeah.
where people can walk away and they go, they smile, "Thank you." And, I hope I see her again, but if I never see her again, I pray that the prayer and the encouragement did something for her that day.
You are who you are, and you're going to take you wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Absolutely.
thing is, let your light so shine because you never know what someone needs in that moment, in that
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm.
And just words of encouragement can change the outlook of someone's whole entire day.
It can. Wow. It really can.
It really can.
Yeah.
So I just want to chime in because there's a few people chiming in saying how much they love this. LaShonda Demery, love this. And we have Janice M. Coleman. Yes, Romans 12:1 and 2. Hearts. And then we have Dr. Joanne B. Lewis joined over on Instagram. So thank you all for just really showing up in the comments. And, if you have any questions, also, it's okay for you to put your questions in and be a part of the conversation. But thank you for chiming in. The one thing that you did, you wrote a book that is timeless.
Mm.
So, and you said you wrote this 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This dropped in your spirit 3 years ago. You never knew it would become a bestseller book.
Nope.
You probably never even thought about turning it into a book.
I didn't. I didn't. I did. I tell you, I was just trying to do my job. I'm like, okay, here's something creative. Let's do something different, right?
But I'm glad you brought that up because I think sometimes being a publisher, I think people might overlook the books that's in them, the
Hmm.
stories that's a part of their journey. And
Mm-hmm.
all you did in that moment, for some other reason, you just started writing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was inspiring you. It was
It was.
encouraging you. And you said, I need to figure out some type of assignment or activity I can do, right?
Right, exactly.
So that in itself is encouragement to all those that are watching. Don't overthink that story. Don't overthink that book. What is the need? And she didn't realize it would be a need that a lot of people would gravitate to. She didn't realize at the moment as she began writing that it would be something timeless that people can pick up this book any year,
Mm-hmm.
and it still be relevant. You didn't think like that. All you thought about in that moment, I'm just going to share my thoughts. That's it. And
Exactly.
write them down.
Mm.
It's so interesting because you came through a referral from your sister.
I
Your
did.
sister who also is a best-selling author,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
and actually your sister, you were a part of another book project, an anthology book project also that we did through Dr. Tenaria Drummond Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just incredible that did you ever think you would be an author? Was that something that you ever had a desire to do, to write and publish?
I, I don't think so. I don't think that I even really considered it.
Mhm.
And when I was introduced to Dr. Smith. It was a
Mhm.
prayer book for women, I believe. It was out for
Yes.
Women's Month,
Mhm.
and I think I wrote a couple prayers in it.
You
Uh,
did.
and I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. Still not thinking when I started writing these devotionals that I would publish them. I
Exactly.
had done, I had done the anthology, but I thought, this is just something again I'm doing for work. So I never really, I don't can honestly say I
Yeah.
don't think I ever put those two things together. Uh, it just again is a part of a process, and like you said, my sister has a couple of devotionals out, and she told me about getting with Miss Germaine, and I said, okay, I've got these out here. And the one book she did about the silence, I can't remember,
Yes. Mhm.
that was transformative for me. Basically hearing, I can't remember the title now, but the silence, she talked about just
Yes.
listening in the silence. And I mean, it all just is so, it's awesome how things just play together, and it starts to connect. And like you're saying,
Mhm.
you don't even necessarily have to think about it as I want to write, I want to be an author, but
Exactly.
don't hold back on what's in you, just put it down and just start. And I think sometimes that's what trips people up is like, we don't just start. So just start,
Just start.
and get it going. And the whole thing, it comes together as it's intended to come together in its purpose and with its purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's powerful because a lot of times people think that no one wants to hear my story, you know. And that's why as a publisher, 18 years, celebrating 18
Mhm.
years this year, I've worked with
Congratulations.
so many people, thank you,
Wow.
to
Hmm.
really be able to know the power of their story.
Hmm.
And for those that don't think about it, you may be someone that journals and writes, you
Exactly.
know, and not realizing you can turn those journals into actual books.
Hmm.
Better yet, actual bestseller books. That's what you've done. And I just love the purity in it and how innocent it was just in that moment. Your thought wasn't, like I said, I'm going to get a bestseller book. That wasn't it. You were literally writing to
Hmm.
possibly help someone through their challenges in their day.
Yeah. Praise God. It's uh, on the other side of it, it feels like what was intended to happen, and
Absolutely.
that part is just a phenomenal feeling. It really is.
Intentional. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Miss Diana Knox Cooper. Germaine is the best.
She is, Diana.
Listen, I'm just being obedient to what God has put in my hands, also, you know.
Hmm.
And I think for me, the blessing is being a part of so many people's story.
Hmm.
And I say that from a standpoint of helping them to birth their stories in the atmosphere, in the ecosystem, in the earth.
Hmm. Yeah.
So when they finally come to the end of their chapters in life, they don't have to leave full and
Right.
let the,
Yeah.
let the
Believe
grounds
empty.
be rich, but they can really be able to allow it to be
Yeah.
legacy for themselves and their family.
Yeah.
And
Leave
so
empty. Absolutely. Absolutely.
DMT,
Yeah.
yes. You do it with excellence.
Mhm.
Okay, girl. Listen, I appreciate I tell you, it's a family. It's
Mhm.
family, it's community. I appreciate it so much to even be in a space that we've created a platform so like yourself, people can come on and really share and help encourage and help inspire someone else just through your own personal lived experiences.
Mhm. Mhm.
It is truly a blessing. And so, okay, hold on because I do have another question for you.
Okay.
And before we go, I want you to find another passage that I want you to leave with us also. So while you're
Okay.
looking for that, let me pull up my next question.
Sure. Sure.
That's why I bring people on, guys, because I want to know. I want to know the power in their story, how they feel about it, how has that journey been for them, bringing their story to the marketplace and being able to inspire and help people. And I want to know, don't you? So,
Yes.
okay, so this is what my question is. What do you hope readers experience after going through this devotional?
Oh, I just hope that they know that every day is a blessing and a gift, first of all. And
Mhm.
that if we would just put our minds toward, you know, an upward perspective, a godly perspective, a perspective that goes beyond our circumstance and our situation. If we would just do that, if you read something in these devotionals and you say, I can put my head around that, I can wrap my head around that, I can do something with that. I hope that you do something with it.
Yes.
That really is the goal. That it will give you an opportunity. It will give you an open door. It will give you a roadway, a roadmap to something that you first of all had
Yes.
not thought of, and
Mhm.
secondly, something that will help you move ahead in your personal journey. You know, so really that's it, because that's exactly why I called it uh, journey. You know, it's
Yes.
recovery, the journey to recovery and life
Yes.
transformation. It's not just, hey, I woke up one day, I read this devotion. That was a good one. But take the journey, see where it takes you. Um, Expand on that, because in the book there are actually after each devotion there's
Mhm.
weekly questions to ponder, and so you have them about 4 questions that you can just write and just think about more about, how does this work for my life, where can I incorporate this into my life. So
That's
that's what I want people to just take away. Take the journey and, look for a way upward. That's what I would say.
That's good. So, okay, which one are you going to read for us? And then I want you to also read those questions so people
Okay.
can get an idea that why this is so necessary.
Okay. So this one is called Force Field, because I'm a like Star Trek type of person.
Okay,
I
okay.
like that kind of stuff. So anyway,
But you know what's so interesting before you start? I love you poured you into this.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
made this about your personal journey, life experience,
Mhm.
what you go through, what you encounter, what you've been exposed to. So I love
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So it said, would you love to be surrounded by a force field to protect you from every danger of mind and body? Inside the force field, you would not have to be concerned about the old things that tempted you or threw you off your game. You'd be protected and never have to worry that you would fall or fail at anything. Unfortunately, this is not the reality in which we live. There is no force field around us that keeps us from the things in the world that distract or upset us. Yet there's an option for you and me when it comes to protection from distractions and temptations. God is ever present and gives us refuge. Psalm 46:1 says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. We can know that God truly is a force field around us if we seek after him. The things we fill our minds with will be the things that come back the things we will come back to in the difficult moments. The best way to allow God to be the force field around you is to get to know him and know his promises. There are many ways to do that. Find a friend you can share time with while learning about God, whether through prayer, reading the Bible, or attending church. What is the force field that you will choose? Nothing in our natural world can stop everything, but knowing a God who surrounds us with love will help us to walk through the moments that try to impede our progress toward a successful recovery. Let him be your force field. So that one was about, I was thinking about at that moment, I was thinking about, again, Star Trek, and I probably was watching the episode or something. And just thinking about, how do I think, how do I let things impede upon me? and that we have to have something around us, and we have to know God surrounds us in that moment. So after that, I would look to these questions and go, what are the main thoughts that you took away from this week's devotion? And that would be one of the main thoughts that I took away. Like, how do I stop the noise sometimes that's always trying to come against me? Where's the force field that I have? So that's the first question. And then it says, is the focus of the devotion a true test for you in recovery? And that would be a person's personal story. Like, you start to think about, where have I allowed things in and I didn't have a shield up? I didn't have a field. I didn't have a God around me that could help me through it. The third question says, how can you apply your personal takeaway from this week's devotion to your recovery this week? And that might be, as the devotion said, praying, taking some time to talk with somebody about, what are the things that I feel like are attacking me and I need some strength against. And then finally, what is a practice you can put in place to help you in this area? And again, that could be, I decided I'm going to read a devotion every day, or I'm going to say a prayer, or I'm going to spend some time with a person that I know is working a sound recovery program, or a person that's a spiritual person that can help me walk through some of the questions that I have. So those 4 questions at the end help you to take a deeper assessment of what you just read. So that's what you would use those weekly questions for.
Definitely. This is a segue right into one thing I like to do, and I wanted to do this in your segment. I like to give these reflection questions to the listeners, right? To take along their journey. So this lines right up with what you were just referencing. The first one is, what thought pattern do I need to release in excuse me, in this season? What thought pattern do I need to release in this season? And then the second one is, what new belief do I need to adapt to move forward?
That's good.
And so those two, they fall right in alignment with your devotional journey, um, of renewing one's mind. And so for those to really be able to, it's making an investment. That's, I look at it, I said, you put this book together. You wrote this book. And I think the most valuable things people can do, if they're at a place in their life and they're in search of something, they're looking for something more, they want to challenge themselves, is really utilize this. I'm going to pull it up on the screen again, but utilize this book to be able to make a commitment. It's
Right.
almost like set a contract with yourself. I'm
Yeah.
going to go through this devotion and I'm going to put 100% of myself in it so
Yeah.
I can get 100% out of it. And so I can start renewing my mind.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people right now, when you go out just in this world, you don't know what to expect from day to day. Thank God for Jesus. I'm going to say that.
Absolutely.
Because without him, I don't know what I would do.
Absolutely.
Thank God.
Absolutely.
So, but it's really, I'm learning for myself, is making a commitment to be consistent in whatever I do. So if
Yeah.
that's reading the daily, if that's reading the devotions, applying the questions, applying myself, putting myself in it, in order for me to begin to see shift change in the way I think, the way I move, my thought process, then that's what we need to do, is make a commitment, value self.
Yeah.
You're
That's so
worth it.
that is
You're,
so true.
you're worth
And
it.
when you say that commitment, part of the thing you want to grab a hold of is your hope. Because, if I say, if I wake up every day and I have no hope,
Oof.
no desire, we're going to fall off real quick. But in these things, in this journey, there is hope. And not only should you approach it with a hopefulness, but you should
Mhm.
approach it with expectation that things will change, that
I-
your mindset will change, that how you think about life will change, and it's going to change for the better.
Absolutely. You know, right now, and I want to just address it before we come to our close, but people are seeing a lot of changes in life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and sometimes we don't like to go through pain. We don't want to deal with the pain of a
Yeah.
thing or, you
Yeah.
know, the discomfort of something. But I like that you said hope. To wake up in a world and just feel hopeless is no place anybody I think want to be in, but they may
Mm-mm.
find themselves there, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, a lot of times people don't know where to turn, where to go. That's why I think the power in one story. When I think about people sharing their stories, your story could be an answer to someone else's life situation
Mm-hmm.
that they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guest on, Dr. V came on Sunday, and even with his book, he talked about um how as a pastor someone called him and said, I did this, I got dressed, got up, showered, got dressed, ate, you know, and I was ready to take my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I came to church and I
Mm-hmm.
heard the word and it changed the whole outlook.
Absolutely.
Someone's story, the
Mm-hmm.
power in a message, the power in a devotion,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
never know.
you
Yeah.
never
You
know.
never know.
And so
Absolutely.
I'm just thankful that you decided that day to try to figure out what you were going to do to encourage somebody,
Exactly.
activism, whatever it was, and you
What we
just
gonna do for
decided
Brew
to
today?
write.
Right. Exactly.
And you just decided to write, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's so engaging because you find yourself in it, even the ones that you shared today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I know I binge watch.
That one is
I know,
me.
I know. So you took practical, everyday things that we do
Mm-hmm.
and transformed it into words of power, words of encouragement, to
Yeah.
be able to package it for someone to say, let me not leave without my devotion today,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
so,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so I'm excited about volume 2. So what's next?
So honestly, volume 2 is more of a story.
Mhm, mhm.
It's it's called How to Kill Your Giants. That's
Mm,
well, I'm gonna say How to Kill My Giants. I'm gonna make it a personal story, and I want to talk about it because this has been part of my journey here
mhm.
over the past 4 years. Because I moved from Indiana down to Kentucky, um, and so when you move, you of course you don't have the same relationships, and
That's right.
um, you don't have different challenges and things like that. Thank God I'm in an awesome fellowship, and our Prophet Gwen, and her book is going to be coming out in April. Gwenola, we're excited about
Yes.
that, and like you said, my
Yes.
sister, Dr. Michelle Wells. Her, if I remember the name, my ramblings in the silence. That's what it was called.
Yes. Yes.
So they've been, of course, just rocks for me. But as actually, Pastor Prophet Gwen had preached a sermon one Sunday called uh, "The David Inside of You," and she was talking about
Mm,
the David and Goliath story, and it stirred in me, that there have been giants in me, and so I started thinking about, and I had been thinking, saying to myself, and knowing I needed to write another book or volume 2 or something, and so I just started thinking about it, and two of the things, or a couple of things that it's going to talk about is isolation to restoration, because I've had to be in a place in some respects of isolation so that God can restore some things in me. And
yes.
then it's going to talk a little bit about being prostrate in terms of just surrendering everything, and then God raising up in power in me and
Wow.
through me. So those are just a couple of the concepts that it's going to talk about. I
Wow.
think there are probably going to be a couple more, but it's in process. But How to Kill My Giants will be my volume 2 of a recovery story, because it'll be kind of more of my personal recovery story.
That's
Not
good.
again, not necessarily from drugs and alcohol, although it talks a little bit about that, but just a recovery story in terms of dealing with guilt and shame and pride and all those types of things that come into our life. And we
Yes.
set them aside and we don't address them, and we don't fight against those things that can tear us down when God is trying to build us up. So that's what the next volume is supposed to be about.
All right. We can't wait. But in the meantime, while we're waiting,
Yes.
we need everyone to read volume 1. We need
Yes.
you, let me pull it up. We need you to read volume 1 just so you can start on this journey of recovery and life transformation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm excited for you.
So look, make sure you keep on me because I can, I can
Okay.
play.
She said it. Y'all heard her, right? Now, listen, maybe we should book her now for the review, for the preview of her new book, right? But
Yeah,
no, I'm excited. It becomes therapeutic also.
it
As you're
does.
writing and
Absolutely.
having to go back and reflect on just life experiences, your journey in life, you
Hmm.
find how far you really come when you really start getting
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's
but
been a
yes,
blessing.
I'm always excited. And once I want to say thank you for being a part. Yes, she is a part of our school community. Let me bring
Yes.
that up because the importance in community.
Hmm.
I am finding so much value in community. Sometimes we can put ourselves in these little bubbles and hold on one second. Yes. Sometimes we
Hmm.
can put ourselves in these little bubbles and just think the whole universe evolves around this little bubble. There's so
Right.
much world outside, right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
So much world outside. And hold on, I'm pulling this up while we're talking. But I find that there's so much value in staying connected in the community, in the school community. And yes, you are. So, what I love about Morning Brew is that make sure you get your copy. The link is in the comments, okay? But one thing, let me pull this up on the screen first. One thing I love is to be able to, as I'm connecting with so many people across the world and them allowing me and trusting me to share their stories with them for the world to be able to receive them.
Hmm.
It's building this community of people that you're in relationship that feels like family. And you know what's so interesting about it is I can't say I've ever met every single author I've worked with in person because I haven't. Thank
Hmm.
God for technology, right?
Absolutely.
And thank God for a community because now we're all in a space together and people
Hmm.
can connect and they can share. And I'm going to put the link. It's scrolling across the bottom, but I am going to add the link real quick. Hold on one second. I'm going to add the link also because I think it's important. Sometimes people are in search of something. I know I was looking for a space that um I could do just that, just what it's doing. Allow people to come from the live and be able to join us over in the community. It's free
Hmm.
and really be able to address and talk about some things about your story because my
Hmm.
platform is all centered around, right? Publish and profit from it, right? And everybody may not show up for those three things,
Hmm.
but the story is there. And sometimes people just need clarity or listen, I know I got a story, but I don't know what do I do? How do I get it from A to B? How do I even get it up out of me?
Exactly.
And
Just start.
so
Just
just
start.
exactly. But then again, you never know. You never know who you may meet along this journey that you would have never met if you wasn't a part of
Absolutely.
community.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty in community. That's what I take away from it. It's available. I put it in a link for anybody that wants to join. And I do apologize because I've had this link, I've been sharing it. But what I realized the other day is when you click on it, it wouldn't allow you to go anywhere. It was an error. And you know what I said? I said, how many people have been wanting to join and couldn't get in because I made an error? I copied the wrong link,
Mhm.
right? But now this is the right link and it's a part of all the social media platforms. So you can just go and hey, join the community. get
Amen.
to meet some people in the community. So yes, all of my friends and family are making their way to the community. So
Awesome.
awesome. But thank you. And yes, you did mention your pastor. Yes, my new friend.
Yes.
Pastor Gwen, Pastor Gwen, I tell you, we feel like sisters from another mother.
She make people feel like that so quick.
She do. She do.
She does. She does.
So I am so excited because yes, her new book is coming to the market as well, and she will be up here to share about her story, Gwenola. And
Mhm.
so very, very intriguing story. Just
Yes.
like wow type of story, you know. But yes, so until we meet again, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Until we
I'll be
meet
back with the
again.
new book.
Oh, wait, so I have congratulations, Auntie. Love you.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Awesome.
Yep. And then thank you, Diana. Awesome morning brew conversation. Thank you. I love it. I love that people can chime in, join in the conversation, and really take something away from it. So, with that being said, is there anything you would like to leave with the audience?
I just am so grateful for you. And like you said,
Mm,
their community and connection, it offers us opportunity to refresh. This has been a refreshing morning for me, just to talk about this book again. I haven't really
yeah,
just talked about it in a while. And I just hope that it brings, something encouraging to people. And I pray that, if anybody picks it up, I may never meet you. But let God do what he needs to do in it and through you and through it. So I'm just excited that we never have to know the outcome, but God knows. And that's the most important
absolutely.
thing. And so I appreciate you. I thank you. Again, I want to shout out my prophet, Gwen Mentor, and my lovely, beautiful, dear sister,
Yes,
Dr. Rachele Wells. I love her to life. Um,
yes.
and they've been this rocks and pillars for me as I've gone on this next phase of the journey. And of course, my brother-in-law, Alvin Wells. I love you, brother. So thank you so much for having me, though. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Listen, this is the first of many. You will be back. You have a new book
Okay.
coming out soon. So, yes,
Okay.
we want to know all about it.
Yes.
So, but thank you. But what I want to do just in our final sip, because that's what we do before we leave, we want to leave just a final sip. You know, renewal is a daily decision.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to change everything overnight, but you have to start with one thought, one shift, one moment of awareness, and one intentional step forward. Like you said, just start,
Yes.
you
Start.
know, just
Absolutely.
start. So, you know how we do. We sip slow, be mindful of your thoughts, pour into purpose, choose one new mindset today. Okay,
Mm.
just one. That's it. Don't overwhelm yourself, just one. And you know what? Share this brew, encourage someone else on their journey. Is that fair enough? Okay, guys. Listen, Dr. Rachele, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story with all of us in the world.
You're welcome.
So,
Thank you.
have a great one, guys. Whatever you do, be safe on your journey. Today is Friday, so you have all weekend. Just take a pause somewhere in this weekend. Take a pause so you can pour
Absolutely.
into purpose. Okay. Have a blessed day. Bye bye now.
Bye.